Don't overlook the signs, Virgo, because I feel like there are a lot of messages that are coming through in some very unexpected ways. While I was tuning into your energy, I got several different messages, but the first one I heard was you are seeing the big in the small. And this kind of reminds me of the difference or kind of contrast between the microcosm and the macrocosm, or even the Hermetic principle of as above, so below, which is also known as the principle of correspondence. And so it feels like there are larger collective themes or even spiritual themes that are kind of manifesting or showing up in a more minute or even mundane scale. So pay attention to the numbers you're seeing, the animals you're seeing, any sort of concepts or recurring themes that are taking place in your life right now, because it feels like there's something that you are supposed to look at a little more closely. I would even argue that tarot is operating within this law of correspondence, because we're using cards, these little pieces of art, to kind of decrypt the pattern of the larger universe or things that are going on a spiritual or energetic level. So comment down below if there's been any sort of recurring images, symbols, or themes in your life, because I feel like it's really important that you are paying attention to that right now. I did get a couple of other messages. It felt like it was very important for you to cleanse your space. And even while I was connecting with your energy initially, I was having a bit of a difficult time with the deck. I was pulling some animal cards like I do at the start of most of these readings, and I just felt like I wasn't getting the right cards. I kept getting the moth, and I was like, I feel like I'm supposed to be getting the butterfly. And eventually I just had the feeling I'm supposed to do some cleansing here, so I cleansed the room, I cleansed the deck, and I kid you not, as I was kind of burning some rosemary over the deck, I kind of bumped on the table and the butterfly came out from the top of the deck. So I got that sort of confirmation, like, yeah, this is something I was supposed to be doing. So you are definitely going through a transformation right now with that butterfly imagery, maybe coming out of a cocoon, coming out of your shell a little bit more. And with the butterfly, it kind of dissolves as the caterpillar loses what it was to become what it was always meant to be. So that could be very thematic in your life. But nonetheless, I feel like it is very important that you are doing some cleansing, especially if you're feeling a little bit foggy, or kind of just having a harder time concentrating. It feels like you need to either clear out or cleanse your space in some way. I did also hear the message, know where you stand. And like really figure out what is important to you, know what your values are now, because I get the sense there might be some sort of conflict for you, or you might be needing to make a really big decision, and it's important that you know what your priorities are, not just your values. Like, how do you prioritize the values? What is most important to you? Maybe even taking some time and writing this down as a list. What are your top priorities? Some exercise I could even recommend is just writing a list of all your values or all the things that you strive for. And once you're finished with that list, keep breaking it down by half until you're left with 2 or 3 of these words or concepts. And those are the ones that you are really supposed to kind of be considering as you're moving forward. And again, you may be needing to pick and choose your battles right now, or maybe you need to be taking a different approach that is more in line with what you actually value. Don't get stuck in the ego struggle, okay? Or the power struggle, I should say. So I did pull some animal cards for you. We will get into the tarot in just a moment. If you've been following around and haven't done so already, I really encourage you to hit that like and subscribe button, as well as that bell notification, so you can always stay up to date with what's in the cards for you. I am very likely to rebrand, so if you want to stay up to date, definitely be sure to do that now. It's a better time than any. So some of the animal cards I pulled for you, Virgo, of course, we had that butterfly that came out. I decided to keep this. We already talked about this being kind of a transformation, but it feels like you're unveiling yourself in a new way. And I did also get the peacock, which again feels like you are actually quite impressive in some way, Virgo. You have some sort of gift or talent, or maybe you're just very beautiful, but you sort of hid that. You kind of laughed it off in the past with the hyena. I even sort of see this half moon, like you kind of concealed or downplayed your gifts, your beauty, or your talents. And part of what you are being asked to do right now is really step into that and own it. It's not about being prideful. It's not about being vain. It's really about you being confident and knowing your worth. That feels really important. And that might also be part of this like kind of conflict, because I think you might be triggering people right now. You might be making them feel insecure, which is really interesting as a Virgo. But I feel like it's important that you recognize your gifts and take your dreams seriously. You know, if you want to be an artist or a creative, especially, maybe even like a model, honestly, with Peacock, you might not have actually allowed yourself to want these things. And so I feel like whatever it is that you desire, allow yourself to really actually want that. It's not a pipe dream, Virgo. You can make this a reality. You can make your dreams a reality. But it will take work, it will take effort, and it will take you stepping into that role. So it feels really important. And I think that's part of this emerging from this chrysalis. You've gone through a transformation recently, or maybe you're still going through a transformation. And you're now showing the world new parts of you. So very, very interesting stuff. And it is funny that I kept getting the moth at the beginning of this reading, because I often think of this as like the dark night of the soul. But I think with the butterfly, it is more of like the lighter side of transformation. You are now coming into a more solar or radiant era, which is more public. It is more material. It is more outward. I feel like after all of the inner transformation you've been going through, Virgo, you are unveiling something. You are having a debut, so to speak. Very, very interesting. I'm so curious to see what the tarot cards have to say. And as I am shuffling here, I really encourage you to take a moment, maybe even pause this video and feel the resonance in your body so you can best discern what messages are meant for you at this time and what should be left behind for somebody else. If you would like to book a personal reading or an energy healing session with me, you can find the link for my website in the description of this video, as well as links for all of my other social media accounts. Again, I may be rebranding, so it's a very good time to follow me, so you're sure that you are following me. So yeah, all of that is available to you down below. Any other messages for Virgo, or what are the messages for Virgo at this time? Show us clearly, please. Interesting. So we have the Six of Pentacles showing up in the past. Maybe someone has given you something, or you have been giving yourself to someone or some cause. Because the Six of Pentacles, if you can't tell by the art, is very often associated with charity and generosity. And it feels like there's been something about giving or exchange. Maybe you are the one receiving this, maybe you are giving it to somebody else. And honestly, I'm kind of getting a little bit of both, actually. And even thinking of this on a larger scale, what I'm really resonating with you is like, you are taking your own experiences, your own struggles, and you are showing up for other people the way you wish someone had shown up for you, or maybe even the way other people showed up for you before. You are now supporting others who have struggled with similar things as you, or that is a desire. That is something that you have either been doing or are looking to do right now. So that is a very interesting kind of interpretation there, but that is what I'm sort of getting a buzz with. Like, you went through certain experiences and you want to use that to help other people, or to provide assistance or support to other people who might be going through similar struggles. Yeah, with the Queen of Cups, this is a very charitable, very generous, caring, supportive card. Some of you might be doing this as a social worker, or as a therapist, or doctor, or some kind of healer. Maybe you're even doing some kind of intuitive work. I really just think of the Queen of Cups as kind of the caretaker. She is someone who is very intuitive, very attuned to people and their needs. And I feel like the Queen of Cups is the type of person who knows you better than you even know yourself sometimes. Like, is able to kind of name what you're feeling before you even recognize it. But I feel like, Virgo, this is kind of the role that you are in right now. And it's because you've gone through similar experiences to the people you are helping or the people you're connecting with. You're kind of able to almost anticipate what their needs or feelings are going to be before they even know. So very, very intuitive, very, very aware, and using this attunement to help support other people feels like a very important message here right now. But I feel like you're doing this in a little bit of a different way, because I feel like with the peacock, there's something maybe about being on social media or having some sort of presence, like a stage presence, or like some sort of audience, or being witnessed. I feel like you could be presenting something, or putting a piece of art or some writing out into the world even. But it feels beautiful. It feels like representational somehow. Tell me about this energy. Wow. We have the King of Wands and the Page of Wands. Although I'm feeling like it's more like the Page of Wands into the King of Wands. You're taking an idea and you're running with it. And it's funny because I feel like on the outside, people actually see you like a very capable King of Wands. Someone who's overcome a lot, someone who's a champion to a cause or to a certain group of people. And the Page of Wands has all of these ideas and like might even feel a little bit insecure. I'm almost getting insecurity with this Page of Wands. And of course, as I'm speaking to all of this, I am feeling like a little snag in my throat here. Of course, I did just burn a bunch of like herbs for you, so. But there's always a synchronicity even in that. What else do we have for Virgo? I'm noticing at the bottom of the deck, we have the Seven of Cups and we have the Moon. Both of these cards can speak to intuition or confusion, actually. You might have a lot of different ideas right now with the Page of Wands. I also want to tell you that there's not necessarily one way to get your purpose right. Because I think sometimes when we think of like destiny or soul purpose... Excuse me. One second, I'm going to open a window. There we go. I told you, clear your space if it feels like it's a little foggy or a little dense. You might be needing to clear your space. Let me just turn that fan down. Okay. Yeah, so clearing out your space, making your space more conducive to you. I do see the Moon and the Seven of Cups here. I feel like you've been oscillating for a while. And I was talking about purpose and legacy, and I think often we think that looks like something really specific. Like, I'm supposed to be a writer. I'm supposed to write this book. I'm supposed to teach this subject. I'm supposed to do this sort of job or vocation. And the truth is, I really feel like a lot of the time, our purpose is actually a lot more broad or abstract or just like, I am meant to help people. That is literally actually what the purpose is for you. You are meant to help people who have gone through similar things that you have. You are supporting them in ways that you've either been supported or wish you had been supported. And there's a million ways to do that. And I think you're kind of narrowing down how that looks for you. But I do feel like there is almost like this advocate role that you are stepping into or that you've been in with the King of Wands that feels very relevant right now. Comment down below if this is making sense for you. Like what sort of advocacy work you're feeling called to do, or like what are the causes? What are the things that you want to stand up for? And I did get that message, like at the very beginning, know what you stand for now. That feels really important. I'm almost getting like a sense right now of a group starting to become divided, or like a social circle or a sphere or some sort of community, whether that's virtual or physical. There's like some sort of division right now, and you might need to know where you stand. What are the messages for Virgo? I do feel like you are kind of almost stepping into the role of like a reluctant leader. And as I say that, the Hierophant. This can literally signify some kind of leader or mentor, especially of a spiritual or religious quality, or someone who's very tied to tradition. But this could also be about belief systems. And this is actually showing up in kind of the change or challenge for you. So there could be a conflict or clash of belief systems. Maybe your own perceptions and perspectives are shifting right now and causing a bit of a stir for the people around you or the people you associate with, or people who are associated with you. Because for some reason, this doesn't even feel this personal. It's almost like you're saying something that's kind of like a hot take. And like it almost feels like you're doing this online, or there's just something like in your field that is a hot take. And you might be making a stand for that. But you're sort of speaking from personal experience too. I kind of feel like you know better, Virgo. Such interesting energy. Tell me a little more about this Hierophant. We have the Two of Swords, so maybe there is some sort of disagreement or stalemate or stalling. Not seeing eye to eye can be the Two of Swords as well. Interesting that we have that moth showing up again. I also feel like I'm getting, again, a message for you, Virgo, where it's like, it almost doesn't matter what you decide. Just make a decision. Just know what's important to you. Because sometimes we're sort of presented with two kind of unwanted paths, or a decision between unwanted things. And I'm going to tell you, that is going to tell you a lot more about yourself, about what matters to you, than choosing between what is wanted and unwanted. On the flip side, maybe you're choosing between two wanted things. What is the thing that is most important to you? It's like a choice you don't want to have to make, and it's kind of causing a little bit of like an existential crisis. But there really isn't a right or wrong. You do just need to kind of tune into yourself, shut out the world for a moment, and reconnect with your own intuition, your own inner voice and guidance. And as I say all of this, I see the number 555 on the clock, so there could be some major sort of change or perspective shift. The Hierophant is the fifth major arcana, interestingly enough. But fives are often associated with a major sort of change, kind of breaking down the foundation of the four, or reinventing what is stable, what is consistent. There's sort of a deviation that's going on right now. You're sort of deviating. Interesting, Virgo. And that feels like it's part of your legacy. Knight of Wands, just go for it. Scrape your knees a little bit. Don't be afraid of your mistakes. They're actually really valuable lessons. You'll kind of learn as you go. You're not getting anything wrong, because you're not really trying to prove anything right. You're trying to do something differently. You're trying to help in a different way. And the Three of Pentacles, I do feel like there is still some collaboration going on. There may be some conflict, there may be some clashes of opinion or belief, but I feel like by you making a way for other people, there are going to be other people who want to work with you or help you with something. Whether this is like a new project, a new business idea, or even going against the grain in some way, especially, that actually feels pretty resonant to me. I'm not exactly sure how that would manifest, so if this is making sense, comment down below. I'm really curious to hear. But it feels like you are collaborating. You're inspiring other people, and they want to work with you. They're inspired by your message. You have a message that you're supposed to be sharing, Virgo. Is there anything else for Virgo right now? Maybe something going on in relationships? I am getting a little bit of a... Tell me about relationships. King of Cups. So I feel like there are some disagreements, but you're handling it with a lot of emotional maturity. You don't need people to change. You're kind of just letting people feel what they need to feel right now. And you're letting people have that reaction, and you don't need to take that on as a burden. That's all very King of Cups. And I look at the King of Cups, this kind of Fred Rogers kind of character, and it really is like the epitome of it's okay to feel sad sometimes. It's okay you're feeling this way. It's not your responsibility to take care of people necessarily, but there is like room to have like emotionally mature conversations about disagreements or where needs might not be getting met right now. Maybe some of you are also connecting with a water sign, Scorpio, Cancer, or Pisces. Anything else for Virgo with relationships? What's going on in relationships? Ten of Wands. Yeah, I feel like there's some need to have some boundaries with people, because caring is not the same thing as, not having boundaries. Especially if you're kind of going off and doing it your own thing, you kind of need to redirect your energy into what is important to you, to your mission. That might be part of why you're kind of being asked to reevaluate what your priorities are, Virgo, because I feel like there is a demand in your relationships right now that you're being pressured to take on that might not be something that you are meant to actually do right now. And that doesn't mean that you don't care. That doesn't mean you can't strategize with this person or try and figure things out in a way that works better for both of you. But I really do feel like boundaries are needed. And I feel like a lot of the time on the internet, when people talk about boundaries, it's actually a wall. It's usually cutting people off or saying no. There's not a lot of communication. And like, I actually think the real kind of boundary is being able to speak to someone and have a conversation with somebody while still maintaining what you need and still, taking care of yourself in that interaction too. So it feels like really practicing boundaries while continuing to communicate about something that might be really challenging. Maybe someone's going through a hard time and you kind of need to approach this a little bit differently right now too. That might be also this like conflict that you're supposed to approach differently. Anything else with Virgo? I feel like you're ultimately able to work something out here. And I mean, if you're not, frankly, it's kind of like, it's sort of on the other person. It's not your responsibility to take care of whoever in your personal life is seeming like they need you right now, or like acting like they need you. Because it almost feels like, Virgo, if I'm being completely honest, there's maybe a little bit of a codependency here where like you've kind of been propping someone up and like they just need to kind of fall. And a lot of the time we make that about the other person's feelings, but the truth is you just don't want to feel the guilt about it. So sit with that. I know I just sort of like, I kind of came out of left field with that, but like, are you really doing these things for other people, or are you doing it to kind of soothe your own guilt or your own sense of burden? Because I think sometimes we take on other people's burdens thinking that we're doing it to support them, but it's actually our own codependence or our own kind of like relationship wound where we feel like we need to take care of others. And so that might be a little bit hard. But again, the boundaries thing, that is key. Yeah, the devil. There's some not great... There needs to be boundaries here. There's some sort of pattern that is destructive, and like, the more involved you get, I actually feel like, Virgo, the more you're enabling this person. And so, that is rough, especially if there is something quite literal like addiction that is on the table right now, or some sort of mental distress, maybe a mental health issue. But it is important that you are maintaining your boundaries right now, because with the devil, there are those strings. You don't want to get pulled along. You don't want to be operating from an unconscious place. And if you do decide to support this person, do so from a very conscious place and knowing what the cost is to you and how you're going to kind of compensate for that. But really, Virgo, I feel like you're kind of being asked to focus on your own sort of energy right now. And this is part of you taking up space. And I'm going to be blunt, someone doesn't like it. Someone is used to being able to take advantage of you or get a lot out of you. They're used to you not having boundaries. And unfortunately, sometimes when you develop your boundaries, there are people who don't like that. It affects them. It impacts them negatively. So that might be something you are dealing with right now. But I think you'll kind of know if this is the message for you. Anything else for Virgo? I feel like I kind of just went off maybe a little bit heavy here. Not that that's bad or anything. I'm not telling these things to make you feel sad or defeated. I'm kind of here to put names to things so you can better respond to them. Six of Swords. Yeah, give yourself some space from things. Go into some uncharted water. It might feel a little scary to go on this journey. It might feel like you're going in the unknown, but you are leaving stormier waters behind and going towards calmer shores. So, don't be afraid to distance yourself from people and things that just aren't serving you right now. You can kind of go in a direction, and it's okay if other people don't follow you. And it's okay to not want other people in the next phase either. I feel like there's a blessing for you here. The Eight of Swords, yeah, you're getting out of your head. You're getting out of your own way, Virgo. This is such a Virgo card because the Eight of Swords is like overthinking things. Sometimes it makes you feel stuck in ways that you actually aren't. You might have more options, more possibilities, more ways forward than you realize. There is no right way forward. There's no wrong way forward. Just move forward. Don't overthink things. It doesn't have to be perfect. Give yourself a little bit of grace here, because this is coming in as a blessing. You are getting out of your own way. The High Priestess, you're trusting your intuition. You're listening to your inner voice. You know what you need to do. You know what feels right for you. And you're finally honoring that. And I'm also getting like, you're taking your own advice, Virgo. Because if there is a zodiac sign that needs to do that more, it is Virgo. And I think those are all the messages I have for you at this time. I do hope that this was helpful. Definitely be sure to hit like and subscribe if you've made it all the way to the end here. Give that butterfly emoji or share a peacock emoji. Really let yourself transform. Let yourself be your fullest potential. Don't hide. You don't need to play small anymore, Virgo. And I would love to hear how this was kind of resonating for you in the comment section down below. And if it didn't, it's totally fine. Nothing went wrong. Maybe this just wasn't meant for you at this time. You're more than welcome to check out the other readings on my channel. Maybe you can get a little more guidance or clarity for your sun, moon, or rising sign. And again, all of my links are in the description of this video for personal readings and energy healing sessions. And I will see you all next time. I'm sending lots of love and blessings your way, Virgo. Take care.